Welcome to episode 5. This episode is going to be somewhat of a special short episode. In this episode, I promised you guys, I think in episode 2 or 3, that once I get to this 5th episode, I'm going to do somewhat of a life update. I kept going back and forth on how this episode was going to look, and I think I'm just going to keep it short and sweet and just kind of talk to you guys and let you guys know what's going on. So I guess we can just start straight off with the life update. So about 4 or 5 years ago, I was working at a shoe store that I had worked at for a good 6 or 7 years. Started out as just a normal sales associate, just selling shoes, to kind of work my way towards being the stockroom manager, to pretty much being the store manager after a few years. So, I worked really hard to get to that position, and I had great associates and employees and friends that I worked with along the way. I was young, I was in my early 20s, helping this shoe store out as much as possible. And then unfortunately, after 6 or 7 years, the store owner let me go. And it was definitely blindsided. No one really saw that coming. It was over literally the smallest thing you could think possible. I can go into detail at some point in time, but I think right now is definitely not the time or place to really talk about it. I would like to say there was more behind the scenes that was going on between me and the store owner, but truly I was blindsided as well. I wasn't sure exactly what I did to, get let go, but that's just life, and unfortunately it stung really bad, and I really didn't fully understand why. It was a very tough learning situation for me. After a year and a half, I finally started coming around to understanding that there would be no understanding to the situation. So at that point in time, I was able to somewhat move on and grow from it and learn from it eventually. But I truly believe it was a silver lining. Even though I wanted to stay with that company for as long as I could to help grow it and be beneficial to in whatever way possible, it just unfortunately didn't happen, and I truly believe everything happens for a reason. So that was that. Hopefully I can go more in depth in the future of that whole situation, how much I loved that store, and how much of a heartbreak that was to be fired from that position. But that is a story for another time. That just pretty much led me into creating my own brand. It took me multiple years to try to come up with the right name. That was one of the toughest things, is something that I can relate to, something that I'll always come back to. A name that, you can brand easily. I had 1,001 ideas in my head that I wanted to create, but I just didn't have a name to put these creations under. So this led me to picking up the name Bloomer. With this name of the brand, I'm hoping to spread as much love as possible. Hopefully I can go a little bit more in depth with the name of Bloomer and what I want this brand to look like. Right as I was creating Bloomer in 2023, I became a manager at a garden center, and that took up a lot of my time. So when I created that first episode was around the first month or two that I actually was working. So I took on a little bit more than I could handle, and I wasn't able to create as much as I thought I could. Fast forward a year later, I got promoted to a merchandising manager. I'm super proud of this position that I'm at, and I'll continue to give my 110%, but it's definitely not where my heart is. Obviously, Bloomer, I want to be just as proud, if not more proud, of this product that I'm creating and giving to you guys. So it's tough balancing out that time, but I definitely have so much love for Bloomer that I want this to become something super special for everybody. On top of this job, on top of Bloomer, I am planning to go back to school. I have about 19 credit hours left in my fashion retail degree. I do want to complete that in the next year or two, but on top of that, I'm also getting married this end of summer. So I got a lot going on this year, but I still am planning on releasing an episode every month. So far, I've gotten I think it started in December, January, February. This will be March, and then I should have a good episode in April coming out too for a spring-summer release. So I'm super excited to get that out as well. With Bloomer, I plan on sporadically having releases throughout the year. I'll have some spring-summer releases and fall-winter releases and maybe some holiday releases. But it's not going to be one full collection out at one point in time. It'll probably be a lot of different items spread out throughout the year. And with these items created, it's a super small and short size run. So with all these early pieces, they are truly close to one-of-one pieces. As you guys know, I have my own screen printing setup. I have my screen printer that does 6 screens on 4 t-shirts at one point in time. I also have my quick dry heater, which is my mobile cart that heats my t-shirts to get to solidify the ink. I also have a light box that solidifies my emulsion on my screens. I also have a sink so I can clean up everything that I need to. I also have a conveyor belt heater for longer and bigger size runs of my designs. I do have a whole bunch of cool accessories that I use for screen printing that I will show you in another episode. But for right now, I'm going to talk about videos and how I create them. So everything in part of this brand I do 100%. There hasn't been anything I've outsourced yet other than the first release that I learned my lesson from. So I create my own videos, I record my own videos, I'll edit my own videos, and the toughest part of all that is probably my intros. I want to make my intros a lot cooler than what this room is, but unfortunately I always resort to this room, and it just is what it is. The second toughest thing is editing these videos. It takes forever to edit these videos. So that's something I might be sourcing out in the future. I do really enjoy the creative process behind creating these videos and learning new steps and techniques for transitions and stuff. That's definitely not the most creative part about this business. So my overall goal with everything that I do is always to continuously get better. And I think that's what everyone's goal should be. There's some type of motivational thing out there. As long as you get 1% better every day, that's all you can ask for. I do want to have a quick shout out to all those who've purchased some t-shirts in the past couple weeks. I've gotten a lot more love and support than truly I've ever thought that I would have this soon. So that just motivates me even more. So thank you all. I had a lot of love shown for the I Love You t-shirts. I had probably 2 to 3 times more people buying that than I thought. So thank you all for that. And then my sample t-shirts did really well as well. So I really want to say thank you to all those who did buy and purchase those t-shirts. I did have a couple people reach out showing love. Weren't able to buy that stuff, but I do appreciate you guys for just, saying something. Episode 6 is coming out in April, so make sure you like and subscribe to make sure you get all the updates on this channel. I'm not sure exactly when it will be releasing, but there will be apparel that releases with this episode. I'm super excited for what comes next, and we'll see you next time. Peace.